Have you ever felt like no matter how much you give, people just can't truly connect with you? You show up with your heart wide open. You listen deeply. You carry burdens that are not even yours. Yet somehow it feels like no one really sees you. This isn't about pride. It isn't about coldness. It's about the weight of something divine resting on your life. The truth is, when you are chosen, you don't move like everyone else. You don't feel like everyone else. You don't even love like everyone else. And that difference, that invisible mark on your soul, it makes relationships more complicated than most people will ever understand. If you've ever been called too intense, if you've ever been told that you're too much, if you've ever felt like your presence alone shifts the atmosphere and people don't know how to handle it, then this message is for you. Stay with me until the very end, because today you are going to see yourself in a way you never have before. You'll discover why you've walked through loneliness, why connections feel fragile, and why God Himself set you apart in a way that the world cannot explain. Chosen one, your story is not ordinary. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden reasons that make you hard to love, hard to befriend, but impossible to replace. Before we go deeper, do one thing right now. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment the number 99. Why 99? Because the shepherd left the 99 to go after the one. And today, this word is proof that heaven came looking for you. Chosen one. Let me tell you something the world rarely admits out loud. The very way you love is intimidating. You don't know how to give halfway. You don't know how to stand on the shore when your heart calls you to dive into the deep. When you care for someone, you pour yourself into that connection with a sincerity that feels almost otherworldly. And that's why so many can't handle you. They are used to relationships where feelings are measured, calculated, rationed out in small doses. They want love that feels safe, predictable, surface level. But you were not built for shallow waters. When you show up for a person, you show up completely. You notice what others overlook. You give without waiting for applause. You see beyond appearances, and when you say you care, it isn't just a word. It's an action, a presence, a commitment. And this intensity, instead of being embraced, often frightens people. Why? Because deep down, most people are terrified of being fully seen. They know that if they accept your kind of love, they can't play games anymore. They can't hide behind masks. They can't keep their walls up forever. Your love demands truth, and truth is something many souls are not ready to face. Think about it. The average person has grown comfortable with good enough. They keep their friendships light. They keep their romances safe. They keep their hearts locked, only opening the door halfway to protect themselves. But you don't understand how to love like that. You don't tiptoe. You don't bargain with affection. You don't ration out pieces of your heart like coins to be counted. When you give in fullness. When you connect with fire. When you love like eternity is on the line. And that difference creates distance. You are not a swimming pool. You are an ocean. Vast, mysterious, untamed. A pool is predictable. You can see the bottom, you can measure the edges, you can stand safely without fear of drowning. But an ocean requires courage. An ocean requires breath. An ocean holds storms and beauty and depth that cannot be measured by the human eye. And not everyone is ready to swim in something that deep. Some will admire you from the shore, marveling at your waves, but they'll never dare to step into the water. Others will try to dip a toe in your current, but the moment they feel the pull of your depth, they retreat, afraid of being carried further than they planned to go. This is why you've been called too much, too emotional, too intense, too invested. But hear me clearly, your love is not too much. It is pure. It is rare. It is holy. The problem is not the depth of your ocean. It is the smallness of the lungs of those who try to enter without preparation. Shallow hearts suffocate when they step into the atmosphere of someone who breathes underwater. They panic, not because you are wrong, but because they are unprepared. And here's the truth that you must never forget. Your love was designed this way for a reason. God crafted you to carry a love that heals, a love that restores, a love that pulls others out of the shallow end of survival and shows them what it means to be alive in spirit. Your intensity is not a flaw. It is your assignment. It is the very proof that you are chosen. And though it may leave you misunderstood by many, it will also be the reason why the right people, the ones who can breathe at your depth, will be drawn to you like ships seeking a safe harbor. But here is the mystery, and it is what keeps so many on edge around you. The ocean doesn't reveal its secrets all at once. It lures people with beauty on the surface, but it also carries unknown depths beneath. And people fear what they cannot control. You remind them of the parts of themselves they've buried, their capacity to feel deeply, to risk vulnerability, to give love without calculation. Being near you is like hearing the call of the waves. They want to run toward it, but something inside warns them. If I go in, I may never come back the same. And isn't that the truth? No one who experiences the love of a chosen one ever leaves unchanged. You don't just touch the skin, you touch the soul. You don't just talk, you transmit. You don't just give affection, you pour fire. And once someone has encountered that kind of love, they can never be satisfied with the shallow again. That is why many walk away. Not because you were unworthy of their love, but because they weren't ready for the revolution your love would start inside of them. So if you've ever wondered why people pull away, why friends turn distant, why relationships collapse even when you gave your all, here is the revelation. It was never because you loved wrong. It was because you loved too right. And in a world full of masks and half measures, that kind of love will always feel dangerous. And now, I must leave you with this question that will echo in your spirit until the next moment we go deeper together. If your love is an ocean, who will have the courage to stop standing on the shore and finally dive in? There is something about the way you look at people that unsettles them. They can't always explain it, but they feel it. When your eyes meet theirs, it's as if their soul is being scanned, their hidden thoughts weighed, their unspoken pain suddenly laid bare. Chosen one, you were given a gift that is both a blessing and a burden, the ability to see beyond appearances. You don't just notice what someone says, you notice what they leave unsaid. You don't just hear their words, you feel the tremor in their spirit. You don't just see their smile, you see the storm behind it. And that perception terrifies people who have built their lives on masks. Most people survive by hiding parts of themselves. They learn to smile when they're broken. They laugh to cover the ache. They hide betrayal behind polite words and envy behind forced congratulations. The world trains people to pretend, to put on a face that looks acceptable. But when they stand in front of you, they sense, instinctively, that the disguise will not hold. Because you see, you always see. And suddenly, their carefully constructed facade begins to feel paper thin. It is not that you want to expose them. You do not go around trying to tear people's walls down. But your very presence disarms deception. You don't have to speak a word. Your silence speaks. Your gaze unsettles. Your aura whispers the truth. And for many, that's unbearable. It's easier to walk away from you than to face the parts of themselves they've been running from their entire lives. You've probably noticed this pattern. Someone seems drawn to you at first. They love the way you listen. They admire the way you understand. They feel strangely safe opening up around you. But then, something shifts. They begin to retreat. They avoid your eyes. They answer you with shorter sentences. And then, suddenly, they're gone. Why? Because the more they were around you, the harder it became to keep pretending. And not everyone is ready for that kind of honesty. Your spiritual sight is not just about detecting lies. It's about discerning the invisible. You can feel when someone's energy doesn't match their words. You can sense betrayal before it surfaces. You can detect manipulation hiding behind kindness. And though you may never confront them directly, your knowing unsettles them. Because deep down, they realize, I cannot fool this one. And for people who thrive on control, performance, and illusion, that realization is unbearable. This is why, chosen one, you've often been accused of being intimidating even when you said nothing. It's not your size, it's not your voice, it's not your attitude, it's your spirit. Your eyes are too honest. Your silence is too loud. Your presence is too pure. And when darkness encounters that kind of light, it reacts. Sometimes with anger, sometimes with fear, sometimes with withdrawal. Understand this. You were never meant to see like everyone else. Your perception is divine surveillance. It is spiritual radar. It is heaven's way of protecting you from betrayals you didn't deserve and connections that would have poisoned your purpose. Yes, it can feel like a curse when people avoid you, when they treat you like your gaze is too heavy to bear. But in truth, it is proof that your vision is holy. The eyes of a chosen one are not ordinary. They are instruments of revelation. And here's the paradox that shakes people even more. The same eyes that expose also heal. Because when you look at someone and they finally allow themselves to be seen, it can break years of silence. It can pierce through shame. It can call forth confession, release, and freedom. Your perception doesn't only reveal the wound, it reveals the possibility of healing. But not everyone is ready for that. Not everyone is willing to be undone in order to be made whole. And so, they retreat. Imagine it like this. Being around you is like standing in front of a mirror that doesn't just reflect the surface, but reflects the soul. Some look into it and finally find the courage to confront who they are. Others look once, panic, and turn away because the reflection is too much to handle. You did nothing wrong. You didn't accuse them. You didn't judge them. You simply existed. And your very existence revealed the truth they were hiding. This is why you may have wondered, why do people act so strangely around me? Why do they pull back after getting close? It's not rejection, it's recognition. They recognize that you see too much. They realize that with you, they cannot hide. And for some, that is unbearable. But here is the mystery, and it is what will hold your spirit in tension until we move deeper. If your eyes can see what others conceal, then what happens the day you meet someone who refuses to hide? What happens when your vision meets another soul brave enough to stand uncovered in your presence? That, chosen one, is the connection you've been waiting for. And when it comes, everything changes. There is a reason why many people find it difficult to stay close to you, chosen one. It is not only the intensity of your love, not only the depth of your vision, it is the unshakable strength of your integrity. You are one of the rare souls who cannot be bought, cannot be seduced by shallow validation, and cannot be moved by the applause of the crowd. The essence within you is too anchored, too pure, too rooted in divine truth to be swayed by the shifting winds of human opinion. And this is terrifying to those who depend on manipulation to control others. Most of the world has learned to bend. They change their tone depending on who is watching. They compromise their principles if it means gaining acceptance. They put on a mask in one circle and another mask in a different one. To them, compromise is survival. But when they meet you, their entire system of influence collapses, because you will not bend. You will not play the game. You will not bow to false thrones. You are guided by something higher, something untouchable, something incorruptible. When people cannot control you, they begin to fear you. Because in a world built on subtle control, social games, unspoken contracts, manipulative dynamics, your refusal to participate exposes the entire illusion. You reveal just how much others are willing to sell their soul for attention, for inclusion, for applause. And your mere presence becomes a mirror to their compromise. Think about it. How many times have you been pressured to just go along with it? to laugh at the joke you didn't find funny, to accept an invitation that felt wrong, to join a circle you knew wasn't aligned with your spirit. And yet, something inside of you refused. That wasn't stubbornness, it was clarity. It was divine conviction telling you, do not betray your essence to fit in with what is fading. And though others may have resented you for it, deep down they knew you carry a truth they could not corrupt. This is why your relationships often shake the foundations of those around you. People expect everyone to play along with the same unspoken rules. Flatter when necessary, lie when convenient, compromise when pressured. But you don't. And your refusal makes people uneasy. They may call you difficult. They may call you rigid. They may even accuse you of arrogance. But the truth is, they cannot understand what it feels like to live without the option of betrayal. You know too much of who you are. You know too much of who called you. And here lies the deeper revelation. The reason you cannot be manipulated is not simply because you are strong-willed. It is because you are already owned. Your soul belongs to God. Your identity has been sealed by heaven. And what belongs to God cannot be negotiated in the marketplace of human approval. When you walk into a room, unseen forces recognize this. Some people feel it as admiration. Others feel it as intimidation. But whether they admit it or not, they sense it. This one is not for sale. That reality shakes manipulators to their core, because their strategies depend on weakness. They thrive on finding the cracks in someone's confidence, the hunger in someone's need for validation. But when they meet you, their tactics fail. The compliment doesn't move you. The criticism doesn't break you. The invitation doesn't tempt you. The rejection doesn't define you. They realize there is no entry point. And instead of respecting it, many run from it, because standing near you forces them to acknowledge how easily they themselves can be bought. This is why you have often walked alone. It is not because you are unworthy of connection. It is because most connections in this world are transactional, conditional, fragile. They exist to exchange attention, to trade benefits, to barter validation. But you, chosen one, are not a trader of souls. You are a keeper of truth. You bring something that cannot be measured, bought, or sold. And that makes you dangerous in the eyes of a system built on compromise. You are not difficult to love. You are difficult to control. And those who cannot control you will label you as the problem, when in reality, their own chains are being exposed. Your unshakable presence unmasks the double lives people try to maintain. You make it impossible for them to live comfortably in deception when you are near. And so, they either rise to your level of integrity, or they retreat, claiming that you are too much. But here's the mystery that should echo in your spirit tonight. If every manipulator flees from you, if every shallow bond falls apart in your presence, then what kind of person is strong enough to stay? What kind of soul can walk beside someone who cannot be bought, cannot be bent, cannot be broken? That, chosen one, is the kind of alliance heaven is preparing for you. And when it arrives, you'll finally see why you were meant to walk away from everything else. Chosen one of the most mysterious and unsettling things about your presence is this. You do not have to speak, you do not have to argue, you do not even have to confront. Your very existence becomes a mirror. When people stand near you, something begins to stir. It's as if their own soul is suddenly placed under a spotlight they cannot control. Without you saying a single word, they begin to see the parts of themselves they tried to bury, the envy they denied, the fears they hid, the bitterness they disguised with politeness. You don't call them out. You don't point a finger. And yet, standing next to you, they feel exposed. It is because you carry truth in your very essence. Not the kind of truth that's loud or performative, but the kind of truth that emanates quietly, like light seeping through cracks. You cannot hide authenticity, and your authenticity makes the illusions of others collapse. People spend their whole lives perfecting the art of pretending to be confident, pretending to be happy, pretending to be healed. And then suddenly they meet you. And in your presence, the mask begins to slip. The lies they told themselves no longer sound convincing. The roles they play no longer fit as comfortably. Because you are a living reminder of what it looks like to stand unashamed in your truth. This is why some people are drawn to you and repelled by you at the very same time. They love the way they feel inspired around you, but they also feel confronted by what they see in themselves. You awaken the questions they've been running from. You stir the memories they've buried. You highlight the weaknesses they wanted no one to notice. And for some, that's too much. It's easier to distance themselves from you than to deal with the reflection you place before them. Imagine this. A person stands in front of a mirror, expecting to see a clean image, but instead, they see the stains on their soul, the cracks in their armor, the pain they've ignored. You are that mirror. And while a mirror cannot create the blemishes, it reveals them. You don't cause people's brokenness. You simply reflect it. You don't create their fears. You simply uncover them. And though this reflection is the first step to healing, not everyone has the courage to take that step. Here's the paradox. Those who stay near you, even when the reflection hurts, often find freedom. Because the same mirror that reveals the wound can also show the path to wholeness. Your presence doesn't just uncover darkness, it points toward light. Those who are brave enough to face themselves in your reflection discover that healing is possible, that growth is within reach, that transformation can actually happen. But the weak, the fearful, the ones still in love with their illusions, they retreat. Not because you did something wrong, but because you represented the truth they weren't ready to face. And here's the part most people don't understand about you. Your reflection doesn't just show their flaws, it also shows their potential. When they look at you, they don't just see who they are, but who they could be if they surrendered to the same authenticity you live in. That's why your presence makes people restless. You remind them that they are settling for less than who they truly are. You embody the version of themselves they are too afraid to become. And that duality, admiration mixed with discomfort, creates a tension that not everyone knows how to handle. This is why, chosen one, you have seen people push you away right when you thought the bond was strongest. It's not because your light was too dim, it's because your light was too clear. They could no longer hide in the shadows around you, and instead of facing the truth, they chose distance. But don't miss the deeper revelation here. This mirror-like presence is not a curse, it's a calling. God designed you to carry this kind of reflection because the world is starving for authenticity. Many will run, yes, but the ones who stay, the ones who dare to look and not turn away, will be changed forever. They will become stronger, freer, braver, and you will be the mirror God used to awaken them. Still, there is a mystery that lingers, and it must remain with you until the right time. If your reflection reveals the deepest shadows of others, what do you think will happen when your reflection finally collides with someone whose soul is as unhidden as yours? That day, chosen one, you won't just be a mirror. You will be a spark that ignites destiny, and the world around you will never look the same. Chosen one, there is a reason why your path has felt so different, so lonely, so misunderstood. From the very beginning, you were set apart, not by accident, not by human decision, but by divine intention. You carry a higher purpose, and that purpose demands separation. Being chosen was never about popularity. It was never about being liked, celebrated, or embraced by the masses. It was about positioning, God placing you exactly where He needs you to be, even if that place feels uncomfortable. Your soul was not designed to fit neatly into the world's systems. You were not crafted to blend into the crowd. You were designed to disrupt, to challenge, to awaken, to shift atmospheres. That is why you never felt at home in certain places. That is why you could never fully enjoy the circles others seemed content with. Something inside of you always whispered, "This isn't it. There's more." You were made for more. And while others chase acceptance, you chase alignment. While others seek to be included, you seek to be positioned in the exact place where heaven wants you to stand. This positioning, however, comes with a cost. The cost is loneliness. The cost is rejection. The cost is being misunderstood even by those you love. You've probably asked yourself, why does it feel like I'm always the odd one out? Why can't I connect the way everyone else does? Why does it seem like I'm walking a path no one else wants to take? The answer is simple but heavy. You were not meant for the crowd. You were meant for the calling. Crowds demand conformity. Callings demand courage. The crowd will celebrate you one day and crucify you the next. But the calling, it holds you steady, even when the world cannot comprehend you. The calling does not bend when people walk away. The calling does not fade when you are overlooked. The calling is eternal. And it is this calling that marks your life with a weight others cannot carry. That is why true connections in your journey feel so rare. You may meet many people, but only a few will truly resonate with your spirit. Only a few will recognize the divine fingerprint on your soul. Only a few will have the purity and depth to walk beside you without fear, without envy, without trying to control or diminish you. And when you find them, you will know, because their spirit will not compete with yours, it will align with it. But until those connections come, you must walk the narrow path. You must embrace the solitude as part of your training, because it is in the wilderness that God strengthens you. It is in the silence that He speaks most clearly. It is in the isolation that He prepares you for the platform that cannot be shaken. Your loneliness is not punishment, it is preparation. Every season of separation has been a refining fire, burning away what cannot go with you into destiny. Chosen one, hear me. Your higher purpose is not a theory, it is a reality. That ache you feel in your spirit, that sense that you were created for something larger, that knowing that refuses to leave you, that is not imagination. That is the imprint of heaven reminding you that you are marked. And this mark makes you different. You cannot live like everyone else. You cannot compromise like everyone else. You cannot settle like everyone else. You were set apart so that, when the appointed time comes, you will be ready to stand where no one else can stand. And here is the part that most people will never understand. Your purpose is not about you. It's not about your comfort. It's not about your reputation. It's about impact. Your life is an arrow shot into the future, designed to pierce through darkness and create openings for others to walk through. That is why you feel the weight so heavily. It's not just your life you're carrying. It's generations, it's legacies, it's destinies attached to your obedience. So yes, you have been set apart. Yes, you have felt the sting of loneliness. Yes, you have carried the pain of rejection. But all of it has been positioning you for something far greater than the temporary approval of men. You were chosen for eternal influence. And though few may walk with you, those who do will be aligned by heaven itself. But here is the mystery I leave you with, a question that must sit in your spirit and echo long after this moment. If everything in your life has been orchestrated for a higher purpose, then what happens the day that purpose fully unfolds before the eyes of the world? Chosen one, that unveiling is closer than you think. And when it comes, the same people who could not walk with you will finally understand why you were set apart all along. Chosen one, hear this with the full weight of heaven behind it. You are not difficult to love. You are difficult to misuse. And that, beloved, is not a curse. That is your divine protection. The very thing that made you feel like an outcast, the very reason why some walked away, was never rejection. It was preservation. God was shielding you from bonds that could have destroyed you, from people who were never meant to hold the sacredness of your spirit. Your solitude was never evidence of weakness. It was training. It was the secret chamber where your strength was forged. Every silent night, every unanswered question, every tear that fell unseen, it was all part of the preparation. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. And when the time comes, the unveiling will silence every lie that said you were not enough. So take this decree and let it echo inside of you long after this moment. Chosen one, your light will never be understood by everyone. but those who are meant to walk with you will recognize your